Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Season 1 of Netflix's Ratched. Ryan Murphy's back at it again, and it looks like a Ryan Murphy production because crazy colors, production design, it looks like a Ryan Murphy production. And this is, honestly, how I would describe this, really just feels like, fan fiction of Nurse Ratched, and it's weird. So, obviously this is based off of the character Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is one of my favorite films of all time. That film, I feel like I'm Mick Murphy choking her out at the end every time I watch it. I wish I could jump through the screen and do the same thing to her. This show, Sarah Paulson plays for Nurse Ratched. The rest of the cast is filled out by Finn Wittrock, who is a man on death row for killing a bunch of priests in an extremely violent and gory way at the beginning of the show. Cynthia Nixon works for the governor, who has some feelings for Mildred Ratched. Judy Davis, who's Nurse Bucket, who's the head nurse at this place in California where Nurse Ratched winds up getting a job. John Briones plays Dr. Hanover, who runs this hospital. And there's other people involved, and there's so many plot threads going on. Like, there's a rich woman, played by Sharon Stone, who's involved. You have Corey Stoll, who pops up a little bit into the show. But really, there's a lot of mystery to what Mildred Ratched's motivations are in this show. And from the first episode, they set up that she'll do horrible things to get what she wants. And I feel like, where'd that come from? Because, she's an over-controlling kind of nurse in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but I never feel like once they actually make her out to be, murderous. She might not have a whole lot of empathy, but, she doesn't go out of her way to try to, murder people. And, I don't get where this show's coming from. I guess that's the feeling, because, like I said, I feel like this is fan fiction. And it just feels so weird and off and overly violent and overly sexualized. And it just feels like Ryan Murphy going for, go for it. Over the top everything. And the performances are really done well. And, if it wasn't for Sarah Paulson and Cynthia Nixon and Judy Davis, it's these characters would have felt even more just, over the top crazy. But, they give really earnest performances. And there is some serious tension. They build up some tension. There's some mystery. And it takes on some hard thematic ideas of how to deal with these mental illnesses. What is a mental illness? What's the ethical guidelines of dealing with all these people with all these different backgrounds and what they're dealing with? And I feel like they do enough to honor those kinds of themes in this, but a lot of the times it just feels like torture porn and just for the sake of gore and violence and just over-the-top production design and style. And it never feels like it really gets grounded in something meaningful to the point where I really, really cared. And I feel like calling this Nurse Ratched, they could have called this anything. They didn't need to make this about Mildred Ratched, because then the whole entire time I'm thinking about, how's this woman even get to the point where she's doing what she's doing in, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Because, nothing about this, the tone doesn't feel anything alike. It just feels like, why was this made? And I don't know. And maybe she does have this crazy backstory. It's something you never really get a sense of in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And maybe I'm overthinking that part of it. But, in general, just this show just feels like it's a lot of pizzazz and over-the-topness. And, that's a criticism of a lot of Ryan Murphy's work in general. But in the end, I feel like Ratched has a lot of things going for it, but also has a lot of things where it's just trying to do too much. But in the end, I enjoyed it, and I'm going to be watching Season 2 as well. But those are my thoughts on Ratched. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.